We're going to move on now to Tracy.
Hi everyone. I've got the graveyard shift, haven't I?
You have.
Yeah. And I was crazy and said I'll do a live demo. So yeah.
Good luck.
I'm going to share my screen. I've got a bit of a presentation and then I've got a live demo, as I say. So we'll just go with this. I'm going to just share absolutely everything and I'll put my audio on. There we go. So
good luck.
What I am going to show you, thank you. I might need it. Right, I want to present this and I'm going to go full screen for this. There we go. So obviously I'm Tracy Mutter and I am looking at MakeCode Arcade with you tonight. Now it's that and my wee magic meow bits that I have. So if you've not seen MakeCode Arcade before, it is a free website from Microsoft. It combines making characters because my kids love making characters, especially the girls. And they also make game screens and then they combine that with coding. So you can play the completed games online, but we like to download them onto a compatible device, which ours are Meowbits. So I use this website with my BGE classes. I use it with wider achievement, and I can also use it with level 4, the MPA Games development pupils. In my school, we have risk assessed. It doesn't need a DPIA because the kids just log in with their Glow accounts. So that way it saves their progress, which is really, really useful. You might be kind of used to this kind of website because the MakeCode do the Microbits website, but this one focuses on kind of retro arcade games development. So it looks fairly similar to most online coding things. So you've got your emulator where you can see the results, your toolbox, and a window in which you code in. Okay, I really like this in that it has different coding modes. So we begin with the block tutorial. So some of the kids will have done Scratch in primary school. They're kind of used to that. But we can then switch them either into JavaScript or Python. And you can actually, while you're in coding, switch it between the languages just so that they can see the differences. When you're creating your own projects, you can actually pick what you want to code in. Whether you want to go something with all three and you can switch between the two, or whether you just want Python only, or whether you want JavaScript only. So from this, I am now on, just checking my slides, right, so I've got one more. So this is my Meow bit. This is my actual one that I have plugged into my computer tonight. So this is what we download our games onto. It does actually support lots of different devices, and I'll give you a quick swatch at those when we're in there. So our kids absolutely love these, and I think they would just put them in their pockets and take them home if they could. Lots of them actually said to me at Christmas time they were going to put them on their Santa lists. So that's how much the kids really like this. Okay, so that's my presentation. There is a whole bunch of videos in there that I can share that with you later. So this is the MakeCode website. I'm signed in. You can see my wee glow thing. Up the top here is where my projects are. Now you can see this one is green, 5 out of 5, because I finished that tutorial. This one, I deliberately didn't finish it, so you can see it's 2 out of 10. I haven't finished that one. Okay, so all the ones that you've done are up here. When I use this with my BGE classes, we always start with a beginner skill map. You can see in this one, like Whack-the-Mole, it is just a kind of, you work through it. Wait till it loads and then I'll show you. So it gives you kind of tutorials, you work through each one. So we start with this one. When I complete that one, I unlock the next level and you get all the way up until you get a certificate. So quite gamified, and the kids really like that, particularly the BGE ones. They get a certificate at the end. They all leave computing with a certificate that they can take home, and they absolutely love it. So we start off with the beginner skill map. It kind of introduces them to the website and what it's all about. Then we come into the tutorials. Now we do Chase the Pizza. Now this one is about chasing and catching something. Obviously, we let them pick. You don't have to be a pizza. You don't have to be a smiley face, and you don't need a green background. We do that one. We do Time Flies, and this one is trying to stop the fly when it touches your frog. So it builds up different skills in the kids. And then the last one that we do with them is Galga, and that's a shooting game. And it has projectiles, and it has baddies in it, and it has high scores and all that kind of thing. So once we've done that, we actually get the kids then to go through a design. So we give them a brief, which is the analysis bit. They have to come up with a design for their computer game, and then they go and implement it. They test it, we download it onto the Meow Bits, and that gives them their evaluation and their feedback. So introducing the waterfall method. Now, while I'm on here, there are hundreds of different things on this website that you can do, but I'm going to try and build a game before 8:30. So I'm going to go for a new project, and I'm going to call this one Duck Escape. I can't spell duck, so there we go. So I'm going to create that. Now, I've created this blocks, JavaScript, and Python. I can do the whole lot in it. Now, when I started using this, I actually thought the backgrounds were all the ones that were just in the scenes. I didn't think there was anything extra. So I thought the background images were all just these. Now, if I pop that in and go here, you can see that this is where we like to create. Now, the girls really enjoy drawing things in here, but there is a gallery. And I used to think that that was all the backgrounds that there were until I discovered something else. So I then discovered that if I came down here, there was a tile map. So I can create a tile map. Now, when I create this, there are all different kinds of lands that you can create. So forest, aquatic, dungeons, and miscellaneous. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting some stuff. Now, to do this, I'm just clicking and dragging with my mouse. Nothing fancy about it. Okay, and I'm going to make a kind of maze that I want my character to run around in. Okay, and then I'm going to put in some ground. This bit, we don't tend to show the kids until they're well into this, because if you show them this, they will actually just sit and play around with their wee tile map for hours and hours and hours. I've had kids in my room at lunchtimes, intervals, and after school, everything just mucking about with their tile maps because they want it to be perfect and they want theirs to be the best in the class and what have you. So regularly I have a classroom full of BGE kids all mucking about with their tile maps. There are pages and pages of these things, that there are lots and lots of different things that you can have. And I want one of these, and I'm just going to stick this down here. So that will be my exit thing. Now, at the moment, if I stick this back in my world, I can actually just saunter straight through the walls, and I want to stop that. So I'm going to click on this, which creates walls, and I'm going to colour these bits back in, and this is going to be my wall. So I now cannot go through this. My wee character will just stop. It actually won't go through there at all. So I'm just going to quickly just fuzz through the rest of it, and that's going to be my tile map. Very, very simple for tonight, and I'm just going to click done. So this will now render on here. I will have a black background behind my trees. Oh, my trees are actually not so bad tonight. So sometimes, depending on what you pick for your trees, you get a black background, and sometimes you'll need to go in and then set your background colour to green just to hide them. Okay, so what I want to do now is I need to get a character out. So I'm going to go into my sprites, and I'm going to get my sprite. Now, you can change this. So if you want to talk about renaming variables and what a variable is, you can absolutely do that. I don't have time tonight, so I'm not going to bother. In here, again, you can draw your character, or you can just pick one out. Now, I said this was Duck Escape. There are lots and lots of characters in here as well, but I'm just going to go with a duck. So that's me got my duck, and this one is a kind player. Now, I don't want my duck starting here. I want to actually start my way up here. So on my tile map, I forgot to put that on. So I'm just going to put this thing up here, and that's what I'm going to say I'm going to start on. Okay. So in my scene, I need to come down then, and I want to place my duck. Where did you go? Right, I'm going to place my sprite on top of a random what? And you can only pick whatever in there. Now, I only put one of these on, so pick random one of one. It will only pick that one. Okay, so there's my duck now in the corner. Now what I want to be able to do is actually move my duck around. So I'm going to go into the controls. and then move my sprite with buttons. Obviously, if I had called this duck, I would need to change it all the time. Okay, all the way through, obviously. Okay, now, if I try this now, you can see that a duck will move, but it's just wandered off the screen. So now I need to get the camera just to follow my duck all the time. Okay, so again, I'm scrolling down, so camera follow my sprite, so that when I do that next time, it will actually just go down with my duck. Okay, so you can see that it actually just follows me. Okay. You can start countdowns and have timers and all those kind of things as well in this. If you wanted to play it against the clock, that would be absolutely fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in an enemy. So I'm going to have another one, another sprite, and this time I'm going to pull in another one, and this time I'm just going to change this to an enemy. Now you can see that there's food things that you would be collecting, projectiles are things that you're shooting, or you can add and rename different things in there as well. So again, I'm just going to get another sprite. I'm not going to draw one. I'm just going to grab something out of here that would be chasing a duck, and I'm just going to go with this wee dude. So that's me got an enemy. Now I need to place it on top of somewhere as well. So again, I'm going to go back into my scene, and I'm going to get my place. Same as I did before, I'm still getting my sprite, and I'm going to put it on top of a random something else. Now this time I'm going to put it on top of a random kind of middle block, so that it will just appear somewhere on that screen. Oh, I actually moved my sprite too. There we go. I forgot to change the variable name. So there we go. So it's somewhere in there is my enemy, but I don't know where they are at the moment. Okay, so what I need to deal with now is, what if I come across that during the game? I want to lose the game. Okay, so I'm going to come into sprites, and in here I'm going to go with all the way down, and there's a section for overlap. So what happens if you overlap? Okay, so I've got, if sprite of kind player overlaps with another sprite of kind enemy, then what I want to do is go into the game, and this is going to be game over, because it's just going to kill me if I've touched that other sprite. Okay, so that would be game over. Right, the other thing that I did, I placed a chest down the bottom, and that is what I'm trying to get out of that and win the game. So again, I need to have another overlap, and this time it's going to be, if I'm touching that thing, then I can win the game. So again, I'm going to scoot down until I get to my overlaps. And this time, oh, that's that location, it's not that, bin that. So on sprite kind player overlaps at, right, okay. I want to change that for a location. I don't want that to be there. But where did it go? The joys of doing a live and trying to be quick, because I know I'm running out of time. Right, so because I want to have a game win if I manage to overlap. So I wonder if I can do, no, because it's not another. Deary me, it's totally disappeared. Right, what I am going to do is, because I do actually have this whole game made, and I'm just going to open it. So I'll just open this one, because I did have it last night when I looked at it then. Okay, so what I had done is I had created my map, and I've got all this here. And this is exactly the same way. You can see that I had started changing it to my duck. I had renamed the variables. So the bit that we were missing here was on sprite kind player overlaps with that box that I had put in. This one I had also put in a timer. I didn't think I would have time for a timer tonight, but there is your timer. They come from the info section, where you would get your scores and things like that. You get that in there. Okay, so now that I have my game built, what I then need to do is actually test it. So over here, I can actually go full screen, and I'm just going to refresh it. And then I'm going to start moving. Now this map is slightly different than the one that I had built with you. Oh, there's my wee guy. Try not to jump into it. And my map is over there. Okay, so that is the kind of thing that you can do with the kids. There is actually a tutorial in Arcade to do this, but I like to just actually build this with the kids so that we're building it up and they can see all the different bits and pieces rather than just letting them work through a tutorial on their own. Once we've got that, what I then need to do is to download it onto my MakeCode. Now, I'm going to try and show you my MakeCode because I know I'm sharing full screen, which will be quite hard. So I have a MakeCode. I'm just going to show you how to download that onto it. So I've got my device and I've connected it to the computer. It's just got a cable into the top of it and a USB cable into my computer. When you switch it on after that, it comes in a kind of F4 mode, and I'm going to click the 3 dots to then open up some more options. Now, I don't want to download it as a file. I actually need to choose the hardware I'm going to download it onto to begin with. Now, obviously, I have a MakeCode, which is this first one, but if you have a quick look at the other things that it does support, actually, oh, the computer's frozen now. Oh, there we go. Right, so it's kind of going down. So there are lots of them to choose from. It will kind of reload itself and it will save. Obviously, it's then saving it for preparation to download onto a MakeCode. What I'm then going to do is normally you have to connect it. So because I've connected this one to my computer before, I'm just going to disconnect so that you can actually see what happens here. Okay, so I've picked my hardware. Oh, it didn't connect. Okay, so normally you connect and you have to pick it out with a wee pop-up window. You pick your MakeCode and it'll connect to it, and then finally you can download. Now, what will happen with this is that it will just download in the background and it will just go straight on to the MakeCode. There isn't anything else I need to do. I don't need to grab the file and drag it over. I don't need to do any of that thing. So you can see at the moment that's it downloading. Okay, so I'm going to say done. And I already have it on my MakeCode. It did download the file in the background as well. So if I wanted to save that on my computer, I could. But I actually have it on my MakeCode at the moment. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to come back out of this because that would be a really quick whirlwind stop of how you make a game in MakeCode Arcade. It's quite similar to Scratch in terms of it's the blocks and things. What I didn't show you actually was switching between the different languages. Now, I quite like to do this with, actually the last lot of kids that I've done this with, it's actually been the girls because they've been quite interested in taking this a bit further and saying, well, what does it look like if it's in a different language? So, and I've talked to them about, well, we do Python when we're further up the school. So if I click onto Python, I can then just actually, it just takes it into that. So what I'm saying, can you figure out where this was? Can you follow it through? And, you know, it kind of goes from line 15 here down to line 32. Well, why is that? Can they think of why that would be? And when we open it up, well, that's your sprite, that's your duck that's in there. So you can switch it in between the different languages and you can switch it back to JavaScript, and then they'll say, well, why don't you teach JavaScript? I just don't teach JavaScript, I teach Python. That's what we do in my school. But it's really nice to see the different languages and swap them in and out. As I say, normally it's the girls in S1 and S2 who actually then start, what does it really look like? What does that code actually look like? If it's not blocks, then what does that look like? So they're usually quite interested in that. And as I say, I usually have a room full of kids up trying to play with these things. Now, what I want to do is actually just kind of stop sharing my screen so that I can show you my MakeCode. So I'll maybe, if I come back to this bit and stop sharing, it's not going to let me do it from there. stop screen. Right, so this is my Meow bit. Now, if I hold it in front of me, or if I hold it in front of a sheet of paper, this is my Meow bit that I've got, and it already has got my game on it. Now, I did have a video of this. Actually, I'm not sure whether I should just show you the video or whether I should just try and show you the screen. So if I come back, it's so this has actually got my game on it. So I think I'll maybe just quickly show you back into that. Now, if I scoot along to the end, oh no, I can't, because I need to then share my screen again. I do have a video of it working. I'm just conscious of time that I'm probably about to run out of time and be hauled back off. So yeah, that's my Meow bit, and they are really, really good fun. The kids really enjoy using these. We got these with our money from the government. We bought 2 class sets of these. You could get away with less than that because I don't have all the kids on them at once because they all finish their programs at different times. So one week, you've maybe got 5 or 6 that have finished and managed to do that in time and download them onto the Meow bit. And then some weeks you've only maybe got 1 or 2, depending on what they're working on. But they are really, really fantastic, really good fun. And the MakeCode website, the kids really, really enjoy doing that. And as I say, I've got lots of kids up during the breaks and all that. And they're going to, lots of them enter their competitions with the dress code arcade things. So I've got kids up working at the moment for that as well. So yeah, it's really good fun and the kids really enjoy it. There is lots of code, but they're actually all color coded. So like they are in Scratch, they are all color coded. When they work through the tutorials, they are really, really cool. Actually, I might just go and share that again because the tutorials actually are so good. If I'll go back into the tutorial that I had, because in that one, it'll just take me back to where I had been. So the tutorials work exactly all the same way. Oh, that's not sharing my screen, is it? Yeah, should be. There we go. Right, so this is what the tutorial looks like. So you can see that there are instructions at the top left. You mean in the Python? Yeah, it is a lot of code in the Python. So I like to switch it out from the text-based into the Python. But if they're doing one of the tutorials that is just Python, it's not code that's that size. The tutorials, as I say, they've got, you can see how many you're going through here. It is quite text-based, but there is immersive reader built into it, so it's really supportive for weaker learners. But it has this magic light bulb at the bottom that shows you what you need to put in to make your code work for that bit, and then you're clicking next. The instructions change, and you can actually just click on these and it'll open them up for them. So it's really, really easy to get to grips with in the tutorials as well. But as I say, if you're doing a tutorial for Python, it's not like that huge big long code that I showed you when I had made a whole game and then switched it in. It's not usually as extensive as that. So I'm going to stop sharing again. And how much the Meow bits? So they're £50 each. We got them from Amazon. I didn't actually buy them directly from Kit and Bot, but you can. If you're buying them from Amazon, the only thing I would say is make sure you either get ones that have batteries in the back of them, because the battery just goes in the back section here. But you can actually get replacement batteries off the Kirktronic website that are only about £3 or £4 each. So yeah, you might be able to get them cheaper and then just buy the cheap batteries for them. So they work too, but they're fab and the kids love them.
Right, thanks so much, Tracy. That was absolutely brilliant. And I love the bit that you're commenting that the girls are the ones that are looking at the code. That is fantastic.
Yeah,
Anything
more them than the boys.
Aye. Anything that helps to close the gender gap, you know that we're all about that. That's on our priority list. And I agree, when you use the MakeCode, I don't have the wee meow bits, but when you use it, the girls are the ones that seem to want to go and do the JavaScript or do the Python.
Yep.
Right. So everybody, thank you so much for all your questions tonight. And Tracy, again, thank you so much for that fabulous presentation. And you're so brave trying to do a live demonstration. I did not do that last night. And guys, that brings us to the end of day 3 and the end of the festival 2024. It's been a fantastic 3 days. I would just like to apologise on behalf of everybody for the sound issues that we had tonight. Please don't forget to sign up to connected.stacs.scot to join in with all the CS community that's been getting set up. And you know that the videos will all be available on the STACS website. So please go and sign up if you haven't already at stacs.scot. And again, good night. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a fantastic and well-earned summer. Take care, everybody.